Hello everybody, this is AL Big Madame and this is a family of or fiance recap. And this one is about Justin and Solani. So the two of them have been together for 3 years and some change, and they met off of Tinder. And apparently they were 3,000 miles away from one another, so they were nowhere even in the same state, a neighbor state, none of that. So I don't know where he was from, but I don't know if she even was from there. But anyway, she is living currently in California. So, he said that they met up at least 20 times before he ultimately made the big move to California to where she actually is. She has a son, and he's 14 years old. His name is Niall. Let's see. So they ended up going to that house. They met up with Tracy McMillan, and she wanted to know where their problem started. And at one point in time, later on, she actually said, she meaning Solani, she said that they really started when he started school. And I'll get to that. So anyway, apparently their families have reservations about them being together. Apparently he sat up here and proposed to her and nobody knew about it. But he told her that he, told his mama, if nobody else, at least his mama, about the engagement. But apparently that was a lie as well. And we find out later on that she didn't know. So, it was just like a shocker. The way he explained it was, she knew, as far as her family, they knew about the engagement. When it came to his folks, he rolled up on his mama and was like, so you want to be on a show, an engagement show? And so she was like, why would I want to be on an engagement show? He was like, because, we're going to be on there. We're engaged. And so he was looking like, what? I don't even think they ever even met, they haven't even met her or anything. It's crazy, y'all. So she said, Tracy, she said what's going to happen is they're going to do 20 questions with her and his family. And he is going to play one-on-one basketball with her cousin. And apparently he's going to be the only other male there. So that's why they're having that one-on-one time. Her son isn't there. So, they ended up, which I thought was pretty good, when the families came, they answered the door together. Some people, they'd be like, oh, them your folks over there, you go on here and answer the door. They answered the door together, so I thought that was pretty good. And so they had the little family meeting. And so the main thing that I want to discuss that happened with that was the PTSD that was going on all throughout the room. Apparently, he used to be in the Navy Corps, and he had some kind of medical affiliation with that. And now he is doing his master's in film. And so his mama was looking at him like, what you mean? Isn't it medical related? And he was like, no, it's film. Anyway, they were talking and somebody literally said the word or, the acronym PTSD, and she just flew off the handle, his mama. And so she literally left out of the whole house. She was just like, I can't do it. I can't do this at all. And I was just like, what is wrong with her? Y'all, I was just like, what is going on already? Did nobody even really get into anything yet? And she already done ran off, so I can't even do this. I was like, why? Y'all, so anyway, it got to a point where he even broke down. He broke down, for real, and started crying. And apparently it's something serious that really went on with him, because when he was in the Navy Corps, he did something medical wise. And of course he had to go to these places and he saw some things, and he came back here and, he hasn't received the help that he should have been getting. He should have sought the help, and he never did. And so he is dealing with the trauma of what he's seen while he was over there. So y'all, come to find out, when she said that she has I'm about to say it, but anyway, when she said she has PTSD too, because I was like, is she just saying this? But then come to find out she really does, because I know some people who say stuff like that and they don't. have anything. And it's all about them. I didn't know what was going on, but apparently she used to have military ties as well. And she is easily triggered from what I can tell. So I was just like, okay. So at one point in time, he actually went and comforted her and all that stuff because she really was easily triggered, like I said. So her cousin ended up asking him, what was really going on with y'all? Why were y'all being so secretive about this engagement? And so he was like, I wasn't really trying to be secretive. I just didn't want the judgment. And so, she, was with his family and kind of the same question appeared, and she was, taken aback because she didn't know anything about it. And she thought that he actually had told them that they were engaged. And she was just like, I really like being open about stuff. So I don't know why that was the case with him, why he told y'all one thing and it actually was something else. So I don't know what that was about. That was so crazy. I'm like, why would you tell somebody that why would you tell her, yeah, I'm gonna tell my mama that we got engaged, but you didn't say nothing. Like, she didn't find out until the show was about to happen, until they were really about to go on the show. Like, that's crazy to me. So anyway, apparently, like I was saying earlier, she mentioned that the issues that she had with him really started when he started school. So he started film school, and it's 7 days a week, 15 hours a day. And it's like, how y'all even find time to be together? Like, I don't understand. And she has a child, even though he's 14. I'm just saying, though, it's like, that's a lot. Y'all don't have time to spend with one another. And like, it was just a lot. And as far as the PTSD is concerned, he was saying that, for him, he has his triggers. And he's just always been the type of person that he's always isolated himself anyway. He always would go off and do his own thing. So it's new for him to have to communicate really anything that he is going to do or what's going to happen. And when he ended up starting film school, he did not know that that was the life that they were going to end up having to lead and live. So he was just like, I didn't know how to approach it because I had no foresight as to this being what it was going to be for us. So, I get that. I respect that. That is an honest response. And I fully get it. So, but anyway, y'all. So, she was just like, look, I understand that that's his dream. So I would never do anything to jeopardize what he wants to do. I would never stand in his way. I would never stand in any type of way in front of his dream. I would never do that. I was like, oh, that's good. Like, you can tell she's very supportive, even though you can tell it's still kind of heavy on her because she's never very much around him like that. And they live together. So it's like, how y'all live together, but y'all don't really. Like, y'all don't spend time together. So it's like, wow. So, a lot of this episode was surrounded by PTSD. And, what I'm saying? You're going to hear a whole lot PTSD. So anyway, they ended up having dinner and they ended up continuing the 20 questions that they were having with Solani. And, that's when they were talking about the schedule that he has with school and all that stuff. And she had no idea that that's how that was going to be. So, considering how he has been acting with his PTSD and how he's so standoffish and isolated, him actually then going into the Navy, even before he started school, way after he got out of the Navy, it just made it easier for him to transition into the Navy because of his standoffish and isolated behavior. So I was like, wow, that's kind of interesting to know. So, y'all, they were in there talking, and then it got to a point where one of his sisters, was like, everybody just shut up. Like, she just really was so, I was just like, excuse me, who just said shut up? Like, nobody knows one another. And depending on the household that you grew up in, or even the ones that you didn't, some people, you cannot say shut up. Shut up equates to curse words in certain homes. So I was just sitting there like, wait a minute. And see, this was his sister, one of his sisters. And she was just telling everybody to shut up. And this was the problem with them. Everybody wanted to voice their opinion. and were kind of, I don't want to say long-winded, but it was like, it was so much going on that it was like one person would be in the middle of saying what they're going to say. Then another person would come in the middle, and then it was just like, I didn't get to say what I wanted to say. So it just got to a point where everybody was talking over one another. So she said, everybody shut up and all this other stuff. And I was just like, girl, not the way to go about it. And it didn't resolve anything. Everybody just ended up looking at her like, who are you talking to, basically? And y'all, it was just too much. It just got to a point where she stormed out, and you could tell her family was immediately looking at them like, and who are you talking to, whenever they were responding back to her being disrespectful and louder than everybody else, telling people to shut up. So anyway, y'all, it was just too much, to the point of where she, like I said, she stormed out, and then she went on the little confessional camp. She was like, it's just too much, everybody talking over one another. And I was just like, Lord, don't nobody have time. And she was just saying that that they need to take time out to fix things. Solani, she was saying that they need to take time out to fix things before it just ends up not going the way that they want it to go. So day 2 happens, and we can gather from what has already been said that once he got with her, he just completely isolated himself from his family. Like, it was just her and his son and nobody else, and like nobody was hearing from him, nobody knew what was going on with him. It was just crazy. And so that's why a lot of resentment has been harbored by his mama. And like I said, she's been in the dark for a lot of this, and I get that. So I understand the hurt that she has. She said that she is hurt that because she didn't know about the engagement. And, he was just saying again that he just didn't want it to be judgment. And that's the reason why he kind of didn't say it or come to anybody about what was going on. And eventually, they brought up PTSD again, and, they are going to actually bring somebody in for them to, discuss, what actually that means, because a lot of people don't know what it means. You just hear it a lot and nobody explains what it is. It just be like, oh, I got PTSD, and that's just it. And you might see the way one person reacts. Everybody doesn't react the same way, but you have to understand that there are triggers, and it's just a lot that goes along with that, especially for someone who isn't being treated. Everybody doesn't necessarily need to get on medication. Some people, all they need is someone to talk to, and then they can cope and get through it and have a way to do what they need to do when the situation happens and they feel like that trauma is being unearthed again. They will know how to handle it. So, sometimes it just takes as simple as somebody talking to them. Some sort of therapist that actually specializes in that area. So they also, when they were talking to Tracy, brought up her son, and she was like, look, I need you to check in with your son and see how he thinks and what he feels about all this stuff. And, because even though he's 14, he is at that age where he will let you know, like, his honest truth and the actual honest truth about how he feels about the situation. So that's true. So there was an ambulance going by, and I didn't want to just sit up here and just completely stop. Like, it's really, really loud. But anyway, no, fire department, the captain of the fire department was going by, and their siren is insanely loud nowadays. But anyway, so they ended up having the mental health expert come in and discuss what PTSD was. And she was Dr. Allie. I think she explained it quite well. And, she just was like, look, this is what it means. And this is what a lot of the things that people go through when they have it. And, you have to deal with their triggers. A lot of them are isolated. A lot of them are numb to situations. They are emotionally detached from a lot of stuff. And you just have to understand that. And so his mom, in one of the little confessionals, she was like, I have PTSD. And when I get back home, I actually used to go, but I stopped going. But I realize now I need to go again. So I'm glad she hopefully is still sticking with that. They didn't give us an update on that at the end or anything. But she said that when she got back home, she was going to start back going to the VA and getting help for that, because she was getting it before. But she needs to get it, because she must have went like a handful of times and quit, or she just really needs some very intensive services provided to her, because she is easily triggered from what I can tell. So anyway, you know, it got to a point where Solani asked the therapist, the expert rather, can you be with someone who has PTSD and it still be a happy and healthy relationship? And so, in short, she said, yes, you can. You just have to know what to do. You have to know the triggers. You have to, have all that stuff. You actually have that good communication and all the other those things that go along with that in order for it to be successful. So they ended up being a pretty great session. Nobody was yelling. People actually looked like they were like, oh, okay, I understand a little bit better what, certain things mean in relation to this. So that seemed to have gone well. So later on, Solani met up with her son, Niall, and her mother, and they went out someplace to eat pizza. So they were talking to him, and apparently what has happened is he has issues with Justin, and he called his grandmother to express how he feels and never told his mom. And so, she was like, well, tell your mom what you think about him and what you think about their relationship. And so he was like, I don't like how he is towards you when he gets angry, and sometimes he snaps, and I don't like that. And basically he said that he likes Justin outside of what happens when he gets mad and his PTSD really comes into play. So, and he was just like, I never felt comfortable coming to you because I didn't want to ruin your relationship, and I didn't want him to be mad at me. And I was just like, I hate when kids feel like that. I have been the type of child who has felt like, oh, I don't want to say nothing because I don't want to mess up something for somebody else. And kids shouldn't feel like that, but that's how he felt. So it got to the point where it got down to the end of it. And so she was like, do you think you would, give your blessing for us to get married? And he was just like, no, not right now. So anyway, they ended up having the final meeting with Tracy McMillan, and they discussed everything that happened with Allie, Dr. Allie, I'm talking about Allie like she my friend, Dr. Allie, and how that went well, and her son's views about him and their relationship. And, I thought that it was big of Justin to say, hearing that and now knowing how her son felt and or feels about their relationship and how he reacts to things, he now knows that he actually has to work on himself and do a complete 180. And I was like, yes, you better do that. So, she said that, Solani, she said that she's noticed that his mother is a trigger for him. And he didn't agree. And she was like, well, I'm just telling you what it is. I was like, oh my gosh, he don't see that his mama's a trigger. I thought he was going to agree, but he was like, well, I disagree with that. I was like, Lord. So, she was like, look, the communication is not where it needs to be between yourself and your mother. And that's something that y'all need to work on as well. And, they are actually about to go out there and ask for their family's blessing. So we're at the blessing ceremony, and they're going around the room asking everybody, do they give their blessing? The sister that told everybody to shut up was like, look, I don't know nothing about her. I came here not knowing nothing about her. I still don't feel like I know enough about her. I feel like everything that I do know about her is negative. I'm not giving y'all my blessing. And his other sister was like, I don't really know too much about the situation, and she don't give her blessing. His mama eventually came into play. She's at the end. I'll say her part last. Solani's cousin said that, they have work to do, but he doesn't see, he's not going to give his blessing. Her sister, was it her sister? Yeah, her sister didn't give her blessing. And, everybody was positive for the most part. And they were like, as long as y'all work on what y'all need to, I think y'all will make it. I'm rooting for y'all, but I don't give y'all my blessing. Her mama was, I lived for what her mama said. Her mama was like, look, she basically was like what she said when she came in the door. She's concerned about the legacy that's going to come in behind them. she's worried about how her son is going to grow up in their situation, and she doesn't want him to be affected. And she went out the same way. It was like, I'm concerned about him. I'm concerned about the ones that are going to come after y'all, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think that y'all need to get married right now. I can't give y'all my blessing. And his mama said that she's not going to say whether she's going to give the blessing or not, because what she's going to do is she's going to pop in on them. As of right now, they have been all talk, and talk is all good. Oh, that's nice and dandy, but she wants to see with her own two eyes what's really going on, if there are actual changes that are being made in order for her to give her blessing. And she believes that her blessing is needed and her blessing is important. So she was like, I'm not giving y'all nothing, but I'm going to keep my eye on y'all. I'm really going to pop up on y'all. So y'all deal with that. So anyway, after everybody said what they had to say, Solani said, look, I have something I have to say now. And so she said that she was going to have to pull back from the engagement. She's taking her ring off, and she's going to put it around her neck on a necklace where it'll be, near her heart. And, she got to do what she got to do. They got to work on their relationship. And so he was like, I respect that, So as long as they go to counseling and all that other stuff is what she was talking about. She was like, we got to go counseling. We got to work on us. We got to do what we got to do if we're going to actually, walk down this aisle. So they ended up giving us the update saying that they are still together, but they are, not talking about engagement or anything right now. They are still living together. And her son is all here for it, because apparently he's doing what he needs to do. The son hadn't said anything negative from what they put up, so I'm glad that it worked out that way, because they do need to work on themselves. That is not going to be a healthy relationship if they had to just went on ahead and got married. And he has that traumatic, very, very traumatic moments that he has. And he gets that angry to where the son is like, oh no, you getting angry to the point where I feel scared to even come to my own mama and say something about you. That's a problem. So I'm glad that everybody is seeing that they need to put his needs first before their own. Because even though he's 14, he is getting up there, he's starting high school very soon, he still has a say. He needs to be able to say, hey mom, I'm not here for this. And not be, he's not being petty. There are some kids that are just like, I don't want nobody to be my mama. Even if the person is not exhibiting any kind of signs of some sort of an issue that you need to be worried about. So anyway, I'm hoping for the best for them. And I just really, I enjoyed this episode. I thought it was going to be a little bit more dramatic, but it wasn't. It was all right. So anyway, y'all let me know if y'all like this episode. Y'all end up doing what you do. Hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I'll see y'all later.